The history of the immortal courts is stained with grand wars and shattering curses, but the most terrifying tragedy ever recorded began with a whisper, a smile, and a love so absolute it became a terminal illness. Gather close, for the tale I am about to unfold is a haunting descent into psychological ruin, a chronicle so deeply gripping and unsettling that you will find yourself unable to look away until the final, breathless second. For the next 2 minutes, cast aside everything you think you know about the unyielding power of the Fae. You are about to witness the spectacular, agonizing undoing of Prince Cassie, a magnificent noble of the summer court. With his flawless white skin, piercing amber eyes, and a glorious halo of golden bronze afro-textured hair that shimmers like captured starlight, he was an untouchable god of fire and pride. Yet, his undoing was not wrought by an army, but by the calculated, dizzying manipulation of a single mortal woman he adored. When an immortal opens his heart, he does not merely love. He completely surrenders his ancient instincts. In this masterclass of betrayal, you will watch a human weaponize a prince's own blinding affection, twisting his senses into a labyrinth of confusion until he willingly walks into his own execution. Pay attention to the subtle shifts, the manufactured tears, and the quiet traps, because in the realm of the heart, the sweetest sanctuary is often the most inescapable cage.
Thanks for watching this very emotional stories of Fae in this channel. Do subscribe and share to help growing the channel, to enable us bring more to you.
The confusion did not begin with an open threat. It began with a meticulous, dizzying web of emotional contradictions. Zaria, a mortal woman with deep obsidian skin, piercing blue star-like eyes, and long, coily bone-white hair, knew exactly how to exploit Cassie's fierce devotion. She did not push him away. Instead, she overwhelmed his senses with a carefully manufactured panic. She would hold his face, weeping bitterly about an ancient imaginary blood feud threatening her family, only to pull back a moment later with a cold, distant vacancy that drove the prince to the brink of madness. Cassie, entirely consumed by his love, found his sharp Fae instincts utterly paralyzed by her erratic behavior. Desperate to stabilize her erratic moods and secure her safety, he stopped listening to the warning whispers of his own court. When she finally begged him to follow her to a secluded, mist-shrouded valley under the pretense of a secret sanctuary, he went gladly, entirely unaware that his mind had already been thoroughly undone. The valley was suffocatingly quiet, the air thick with the heavy, sweet scent of crushed lavender and damp earth. As Cassie stepped into the center of a ring of ancient, weeping willow trees, Zaria suddenly stopped. The mist swirled around her ankles like ghostly fingers, but she did not turn to embrace him as she always had. He reached out, his hand trembling slightly with a deep, protective warmth, his striking amber eyes searching her face for any sign of comfort. He wanted nothing more than to soothe the fabricated terrors that had been tormenting her mind. But the woman who finally turned to face him was entirely unrecognizable. The fragile, panicked mortal had vanished in the blink of an eye. In her place stood a cold, calculating executioner, her piercing blue star-like eyes reflecting a chilling, unyielding emptiness. Before a single word of confusion could leave his lips, the earth beneath his silver-armored boots dissolved into nothingness. Cassie fell heavily into a massive, hidden subterranean chamber, but he never hit the stone floor. Mid-air, a blinding network of thick, hidden cold iron chains snapped violently around his throat, arms and ankles, instantly freezing the fiery summer magic pulsing through his veins. The agonizing touch of the iron seared his flawless white skin, sending plumes of black smoke into the dark vault as his immortal strength was instantly rendered useless. High above the deep pit, Zaria stood safely on the grid of iron bars, looking down at him through the narrow gaps. Her long, coily bone-white hair caught the dim moonlight, framing a face completely devoid of the warmth she had used to lure him there. She had never been in danger. Her family was perfectly safe. She had simply used his blinding, unconditional love as a smokescreen to scramble his ancient Fae instincts, guiding the proudest prince of the realm straight into a permanent, inescapable cage. As the realization of her ultimate psychological trap settled into his mind, the chains tightened, forcing him to his knees in the absolute dark. Above him, the heavy stone hatch slammed shut, cutting off the last sliver of the sun he had once ruled, leaving the fallen prince with nothing but the echoes of his own shattered trust.